Hey Scorpio, this is your December 2025 soul story. If you have a sun rising or your moon is in the sign, it's your reading. This is Romy. Thank you so much for joining me on the channel and for all your support if you've been with me for this past 12 months. We're opening up with the Daughter of Swords, and there's an honesty about this month. I feel like you're able to express yourself. I feel like good conversations, good ideas, good solutions, good creativity can show up in whatever it is that you are focused or, investing your time and energy towards. I think that supports whatever needs to be prioritized or maybe reorganized. And I think you're trusting in the path as it's unfolding for you. Maybe there was some resistance through the course of this year, but there's something about the way in which December kind of brings it all together and reflects it back to you and gives you an opportunity to be a bit open-minded and to really learn. You've got this lived, shaped experience, and I think you're realizing that there is a new way for you to show up, a new way to be. Life is carving something entirely different for your pathway, Scorpio. And, it's time to kind of really start to talk about that. The more you communicate it, the more you say it out loud, the more comfortable you're going to become with it. And, that's going to really support that internal balance, peace and harmony that we need for you. Now, the full moon arrives in Gemini on the 4th of the month, and what comes to light, what is being discussed, communicated, received, I think validates a lot of what you've already been thinking with the High Priestess. It's almost just like it's not a surprise to you. What I like with the High Priestess is that, she has to be a pure channel in order to receive and to trust herself. And so whatever it is that's coming at you, and however much external chaos or noise, is ensuing this month, it's that season, right? You're not really letting it impact on the things that matter and what's important to you. And, she's very adept at kind of almost like detoxifying and clearing out anything that feels toxic, anything that feels like it's no longer resonant. And so what comes to light is not just the information, it's what we do with it. And on the 6th, where we have Mercury trining Jupiter, there's an absolute opportunity to make this work for you in a really beautiful way, because something expands, something is amplified. And there's an auspicious quality to how you choose to direct that information, the knowledge that has come through. And for me, the High Priestess tells me it's in alignment with your spiritual self. So you're making the right choices and decisions early on in the month. Now, we are going to be met with Mars squaring Saturn on the 8th. And we know that that can cause a little ruckus. It can feel like just as we're trying to get going, there's some kind of restriction that might arrive, or we just feel in some way blocked. But it kind of helps you to, I think, take the charge out of it and again come back into a place of centeredness. The star tells me that whatever it is going to be resolved, and you end up in a better position, or it ends up being absolutely okay. So whatever sort of lands in and around that time that may feel a bit more of a challenge, remember, you've built some resiliency and fortitude, and wherever that needs to be deployed just to help keep you in a balanced state in December, you'll do it, right? Because this is you finding like a new way. I mean, you've been through a wild storm, and honestly, December should feel like a little bit of the calm, maybe not for weeks and months ahead, but certainly just enough of a reprieve that gives you a sure-footedness and a clarity. Now look at all this blue. You're actually, this is like a wave of blue and indigo. So your throat chakra, your third eye, like trusting what you're receiving and being able to communicate that is, central to how December plays out in a way that supports you. You're in your second house, so there's an evaluation of what holds value for you, more blue. What still holds value for you, okay? And there's something kind of healing in that as well, because maybe you're coming back around to something. When Neptune stations direct on the 10th, we can remember, you know, that maybe we didn't have the time or the opportunity or the capacity even to give energy or focus to something that actually really mattered to us. It was in our heart space. Again, the more we talk about it, you know, it's in the language that we use, and it's how we celebrate and acknowledge in the self how far we've come. I think that, you know, the Eight of Wands is also the deliverance of that news and information that can help prepare you and set up the early part of 2026. And in many ways, it's a reflection of the work that you've been doing or how you've been thinking about something. Now, you're more powerful than you've ever been. So just, you know, heads up, we want to make sure it is towards the right things, because you can call in stuff that is unwanted just as fast right now. So again, the 8 is deliverance. It's like you've finally, you know, you're in a position where you're getting to hear what you need to hear, right? You know, you're having that sort of the clarity is coming. Yeah, the clarity is coming. Now, the 14th will see Mars squaring Neptune. It feels to me that with what comes to light and what is being discussed, there is a number of options on the table, and maybe there could even be a little bit of confusion, maybe overwhelm even, around which way to take this forward. The reminder, of course, Scorpio, is that, you know, it's always divine timing. You don't need to force anything. So if you're feeling in that capacity, then just sit back and wait, right? I feel like maybe around this time you're kind of damned if you do and damned if you don't. So there is that energy of just being like, okay, you know, what is it that's going to bring about the most balance for me in this situation? Or what is it that I need to do in order to kind of be the most authentic that I can be in this moment? That's what's going to really serve you, right? Expressing your truth, not suppressing your truth, being direct. And really listening to, you know, what your higher self is directing you toward, because again, it's going to be deeply personal to your pathway. Now, Mars does shift into Capricorn, and there is some focus and some real stamina if you need it, actually. Even though there's something about finding a slower way to move through December so that you can be deeply present in the moments, because you'll want to remember them. There's also something about what you are setting up or what you initiate, even if it's very fleetingly, for the early part of the new year. It kind of clears it off your desk. It gets it out your mind, you know, even if it's just written down as like, these are the most important priorities as I come out of this year, so that you can just show up in a way that is not distracting you. And this is precious. This is a gift, because it feels like maybe you've been pushed and pulled in so many different directions of late, that the things that matter to you, what you really want, what your heart has been asking for, hasn't really been able to be properly like received. There's your 6 of Cups. It's your longing. More blue. My goodness. And so again, not allowing for those distractions is you're gonna really appreciate that. I actually think this is a really special month for you. As we come into the new moon in Sagittarius, you're also being shown like a better way to do something. So you might have like been doing something and it could have been part of your world for years. Like it's literally how it's always been done, right? There's the tradition. There's just like, I don't know another way to do this, but you're being gifted with some insight, some creativity, and it just feels like a spiritual shortcut here. It's about taking advantage of that, right? Sometimes when we linger too long, you know, with something, we prevent ourselves from embracing the growth. And if that growth can free you up, if it can give you time or space, or, you know, give you something back, that's going to be more precious to you than anything else. So this feels like it comes about by way of conversation, or someone just suggesting, or, you know, telling you that actually, like, I can't believe you're still doing it like this. You know, there is a whole series of different considerations to bring into the equation here, right? So really pay attention, because, you know, the reason it's coming up in this reading is because it feels it's going to be groundbreaking for you in a way. It's maybe something super simple, but maybe it's just taken so much time and energy before. Now, the new moon is also asking you to consider, particularly around like the way in which your abundance flows towards you. There's maybe going to be some shifts and changes that you're going to want to look at. And again, that could be the redirection of resources, right? Or, you know, deciding to release something and put all your focus on something else. Again, lots of inspiration is landing around that new moon. There's a boldness to it. There's even a little sense of adventure. It's like, dare I? You know, is this something that I could contemplate? I'm going to tell you, like, if something comes through around this time, there is such fast gain with it. Like, it's something that can move so quickly and surprise you in extraordinary ways through the early part of 2026. You would be a fool not to really listen and really take this on board and really implement it, okay? So whatever it is that's showing up, however that advice or that kind of eureka moment lands, please pay attention, right? Your third eye lit up here in terms of the downloads and transmissions that are coming through. This is a month, of course, that is normally awash with nostalgia anyway, and we contemplate the gains and the losses. And, you know, there's time that you need to give yourself to sort of process a lot, and maybe you just haven't even had the opportunity to do that yet. I think by the time the 21st comes around with Solstice, you know, you've sort of balanced something in your mind. And again, it sort of puts you into a little bit of a different mindset. We've got the Queen of Coins here. I mean, maybe you're the one that's going to be central to the holiday season in terms of the, you know, making everything happen. Maybe there's like duties, responsibilities, whatever it is. But I think there's some satisfaction in that as well. I think you're just going to enjoy showing up in some of the practical and maybe giving yourself a little bit of a break from, you know, being in your headspace and trying to process all the emotional side of things. I think that there's also something about it's like the environment. It's if you have some uncertainty, right? Like, how is this going to work out, or who's going to be here, or are they going to follow through, or whatever it is that, you know, may have you in a slight state of confusion or uncertainty. It feels to me like you have to get on with like preparing the space, which starts from a preparing of the mental mind, but then preparing the space as if what you want and what you desire fully plays out. I actually believe that December is a fairly honest, direct month comparative to some of the end of the year scenarios that have played out for us the last few years. So we have a kind of sureness about, okay, this is what we're looking for and this is what shows up, more or less, right? So I think that it can put you in that mindset that's going to be super supportive for welcoming in an experience that you would like to see. You're also reminded how capable you are, by the way. So if you have temporarily forgotten, or if you have been doubting yourself in any way, shape or form, there's some really beautiful validation that comes through. And there's a gift that shows up around the 21st. And that gift is meaningful, 6 of Cups. It feels like it connects right into your heart space. And I feel a huge amount of warmth, energy around you at that time. So let Solstice work with you. It definitely has a gift to bring through. I think as you move towards the end of December, there's definitely like a sense of where you've held back. There feels like there's no more reason to. Okay, so, if it's felt like it's not appropriate or it's not the right time, it's just like somehow you feel more unbound and more courageous to be able to just do what you want to do, or say what you want to say, or be who you want to be. And I love that for you as a wrapping up to this year, because you have been through it. And what a great sort of reflection to embrace, to just sort of say, well, all of that, as hard as it may have been, has taught me so much, and look where it's brought me. It's kind of I get the line from that movie where it's kind of like, frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. It's kind of like you just got to that place of just like, okay, bring it on. And it affords you to just kind of let go of a lot. Just let go. What feels too heavy, what you don't want to carry with you anymore. You know, the way it always was doesn't have to be the way it's always going to be. It just, there's something shifts in you, right? There's something shifts. All of this blue has a sort of nobility to it, and I just feel like you're kind of almost like owning and deeply powerful when you're centered in your energy this month, which also tells me that, you know, you can receive a lot of what you are setting your intention towards and see it showing up very quickly this month, right? So don't be surprised if there's some real upside coming through. Now, if you're new to the channel, the last 3 cards we look at in my extended reading, you can find the link in the comment description box underneath. If it's resonating, I hope you'll join me. I really appreciate the investment. I'm just going to go ahead and clarify these cards. We'll see the direction we're going to take this reading for you. Ace of Fire, beautiful. All the cards always listed below. 3 of Fire. There's a confidence that's emerging in relation to something this month. We've got energy of Death and the Chariot. These powerful majors showing up for you. We've got the Moon and the Hanged Man. You know, that Neptunian energy, you know, is sometimes a little challenging to work with, but it's in Pisces, and so that fellow water energy, you can kind of flow with it, you know, you can move in and out of what it is that you need. You've got that Queen of Pentacles, that Queen of Coins there. I feel like she's going to keep you grounded so you don't kind of get lost and almost like absorb too much to bring in any disharmony, okay? Temperance in the world here. Okay. Let's have a look at a couple more oracles for Scorpio. This is my deck, Life Soul Vision, so you can find this along with all my other products over on my website, romywiser.com. You've got Cosmic Rebellion. My work is evolving. Please stay tuned for all of the ways that it's going to be changing. Thank you for being on the journey with me. I so appreciate you, and I hope you'll continue to connect as I bring new things in. Okay, releasing the past, emerging, transforming, energies transmuted. That feels really beautiful. It feels like you're freeing yourself of something this month, right? Even more of this blue. This is your color this December. Scorpio, thanks for being here. I'm going to wish you like a beautiful, peaceful, joyful holiday season. Take care of yourself and the people that you love. And I'm going to see you again soon. I hope you'll be on the extended with me. Solstice blessings when it arrives. And I'll see you again. Bye-bye.